From Beasts of the Southern Wild to Severance S2, Highest to Lowest, and The Housemaid, today's guest has shaped the sound of some of the most talked about films and series. With an MFA from the London Film School, she's built a powerhouse career as a production sound mixer, crafting emotional and technical audio that elevates every frame. A true master of collaboration, she brings stories to life through sound. Let's give a big welcome to the one and only Allison Jackson.
Hey, Allison. Pleasure to have you on the show. How are you today?
I'm good, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Before we dive in, would you explain to our audience what does a production sound mixer do?
Sure. Production sound mixer is in charge of recording all the dialogue on set. So all of the scripted dialogue, essentially. Of course, that includes improv or anything else. But yeah, so our goal is to sort of make the set as quiet as possible. So we'll WD-40 any squeaky doors, put some foam on actors' footsteps, make sure chairs aren't super noisy when they're pulled out. So it's basically creating an environment that allows us to record dialogue as crisply and cleanly as possible without anything intruding on that.
Okay, great. So let's get into it. We're going to talk about early life and inspiration. Let's take it all the way back. What first drew you into the world of sound? Were you the kind of kid who noticed every little background noise in movies or got curious about how things sounded rather than how they looked?
Funnily enough, no. I didn't realize I liked sound until grad school. So I was like 22 or something. As a kid, I always knew I wanted to be in movies. Like that was always the case. But I really liked monster movies and creature effects. And I wanted to do that. So I got really good at making fake blood and using CD cases to break off and they were glass and stick them in my body. But so when I was growing up, though, it was the first start to digital effects. And it seemed like digital effects were really taking over kind of what I wanted to do. I don't think that's really the case. But as a kid, as like a 9-year-old, I was like, oh, man, my chances are ruined. I got to think of something else. So I knew I wanted to go to film school. And it wasn't until I was in film school where I was like, I'm going to be a writer-director. It's going to be great. I hated that. So then I kind of found sound. I sort of stumbled into it. I've always had very good hearing. My parents always commented they'd always have to close extra doors to make sure I couldn't hear what they were saying. But I kind of I fell into sound.
Okay. Great. So were your parents, were they in the film industry, your parents, or not?
No,
not at
my
all?
mom was
No.
a teacher. My dad worked for Coca-Cola. No
Oh.
ties to the film industry whatsoever.
And did you take any courses when you were a kid, like music courses or acting courses, or because kids they take lots of stuff? So yeah.
Yeah, I took, I've been playing the string bass, upright bass since I was 10. So that was
Yeah.
kind of the music track I went. And then when I got to high school, I've always loved movies. Like my parents loved movies. They always showed it to
Right.
like every Friday. I remember we'd go to Blockbuster and each of my brothers and I would get to pick out one movie each. And then we'd
Yeah.
have pizza and ice cream and watch movies on Friday night. So movies were always a part of my life. In high school, we had a video class, which I took for junior and senior year of high school, which was, using those big 1980s cameras with the VHS tapes that went in. And
Oh,
we
wow.
would write our own shorts and
Yeah.
shoot them with fellow classmates. And that
Yeah.
really sort of, I don't know, focused me on, this is actually something I could do as a career.
Yeah. That's great. So growing up, did you ever imagine that one day you'd be crafting the soundscape for projects with Spike Lee, Paul Feig, and A24?
No, I never in my, I still get starstruck when Spike Lee called me for the first time to talk about Highest to Lowest. I was sweating profusely. I didn't know what to say. I'm like, oh my God, it's Spike Lee on the phone. I don't know.
Yes.
So as a kid, I cannot even imagine.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
think I've thought beyond, okay, I want to do this thing. How can I do it?
Okay. And you earned an MFA from the London Film School. How did that time help you shape your artistic approach as a sound mixer and collaborator on set?
That's a good question. Collaborating, huge, because in the sound department, we need a lot of help from other departments. So you've got to be able to talk to other departments in a calm manner and respect their craft, as well as be able to get what you need as a sound mixer. So that school really forced you, because it was such an international mix of people, it really forced me into learning how to communicate with different people from different places, as well as different personalities. I feel like that was really important. As a sound mixer, yeah, I feel like my time at LFS kind of was just like the door opened to crack to sound mixing, and I didn't really discover how in depth it can be until I moved back to the US.
Okay. Do you remember your first time on a professional set as a sound mixer? What was going through your mind when you realized you were responsible for how the entire project would sound?
I think it was like, oh my God, I hope I don't screw it up.
Wow.
Yeah, but then it was, I'd done a bunch of indie movies and shorts, and the first time I was on a big budget, it was the television show The Following. I had been sound utility, so that's like the sound department's usually the mixer, the boom operator, and the sound utility. And I had been sound utility, and I was allowed to mix the tandems. So tandems, like, we'd start the second unit the same time. We start the second episode at the same time the first episode was still filming. So my boss, the mixer, said, "You go mix tandems. You've mixed before in the non-union indie world." And so the first day of mixing the first tandem on The Following, I was paranoid. I was freaking out. But then as soon as I hit record, I was like, oh, this is exactly the same as what I've been doing in school, what I've been doing on my short films. So it's totally fine, and it'll be okay.
That's great. So is there, like, do you on weekends for fun, I had a guest on my show. He told me that he records everything. He has this microphone and he keeps like going around places and record everything. So is this the type of person you are, or this just on the set you record stuff? But
yeah, just on set. Like
just on set.
Yeah, as soon as I'm done with work, headphones are off.
That's it. Yeah, you're done.
Work is over there. My life is over here.
So when did you realize you're very interested in sound? So you went to the MFA film school, and then what triggered what that thing? You realized, oh, this is what I really love to do, because you probably worked in all different areas, and then what sparked your interest in the sound?
I think what it really was that it's such an important part of the film, but it's very much in the background. People don't really understand what sound mixers do. People know sound effects. Like, they think, oh, when I tell them what I do for a living, they're like, oh, you do the music. I'm like, no. I'm like, oh, you do all like the sound effects and stuff. I'm like, no. So I think that's what it was, to be a part of something and to be a crucial part of something, but it's in the background. I kind of like that.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so we're going to take a break and we're going to play a game, this or that. It's a rapid fire game.
Okay.
And it's for the audience to get to know you. Are you ready, Allison?
Yes, ready.
Okay. There are some questions you have to choose between one of them. But if you can say both, like if you can't make up your mind, you can say both.
Okay.
And some of the questions are a little bit hard, so you can say both.
Okay.
Okay. So dialogue mix or ambient mix?
Ooh, dialogue mix.
A24 film or studio blockbuster?
A24.
Spike Lee set or Paul Feig set?
Ooh, Paul Feig.
Okay. Emotional drama or sharp comedy?
Comedy. I love comedy.
Indoor scenes or outdoor chaos?
Indoor, 100%.
Analog warmth or digital precision?
Analog.
Boom op coordination or multi-track control?
Boom op coordination.
Denzel Washington's tone or Julianne Moore's clarity?
Ooh, Julianne Moore.
Late night mix or early morning setup?
Early morning setup.
Script prep or live adjustment on set?
Script prep.
And we're going to move on to our next segment, breakthrough, challenges, and collaboration. Beast of the Southern Wild is such an iconic, emotionally raw film. How did you approach mixing in those unpredictable outdoor environments while keeping the emotion alive in every sound?
Yeah, Beast was tough. It was a lot of, it was all location work, chaos, but a lot of fun. So that was really getting the key bits of dialogue, because there was a script and there was key moments of dialogue that Ben, the director, wanted to capture. So it was making sure I got those while still, so I would have a mic dedicated for that. And then I would have another mic dedicated to the sound of the environment, because it was so crucial. Like, a lot of the interjections by the other characters in the scene weren't scripted. So I wanted to make sure to capture that lively environment as well. So it was essentially 2, I guess, dedicated microphone zones streaming down into the recorder.
Okay, that's amazing. So your most recent project, The Housemaid, directed by Paul Feig, has this rich tone and visual texture. How did you mix the dialogue and ambient layers to support Paul's very specific rhythm and style?
So ambient layers, I guess, that applies a little bit for exterior stuff, but I'm not really, like, when we're shooting outside, I always have a microphone just up in the air, capturing the sound of the space. And I try not to mix that into the dialogue too much, but it's there on its own isolated track. And then for the dialogue, that was just getting it on the boom as often as possible. I think we got 99% of that movie on the boom, because that's the warmth and the richness that you get, versus the lavs where it's like, I don't know, too close. It's not how we hear the world. So I just wanted to make sure, because Paul hates ADR, so I wanted to make sure that we captured the sound of the space as much as possible, and getting the rich warmth of their voices.
Oh wow! Okay, so Allison, do you usually have I guess probably you have like a rehearsal blocking, or how are you gonna move and that kind of stuff, or sometimes maybe it depends on the project, probably, right?
Yeah, that's the dream, to have a rehearsal and a blocking, to know where they're gonna be and when they're gonna say what they're gonna say. I think so. With Housemaid, there was a marking rehearsal. There'd be a rehearsal for the crew. So there'd be a private director's rehearsal, and then there'd be a rehearsal for the crew. But if I'm remembering correctly, then we just jump right into it, because Paul didn't want to miss the opportunity of a good performance in a rehearsal. So that was kind of, the actors in that movie were fantastic. So we kind of knew where they were going to be. So we were lucky in that regard. But yes, the dream is a rehearsal, many rehearsals, to know what's going to happen. But these days, especially with digital filmmaking, you don't really get it. So you kind of have to be ready to go on take one.
Wow. Yeah. So lots of pressure and lots of that's amazing. Wow. So when you get a script, do you usually get a script, or depends on the project?
Usually I'll get a script before interviewing with the director, just so we can start on common ground.
Yeah, and then you talk to the director how he's planning to do, or she's planning to do her shot.
I not shot by shot, but I'll ask in general, like, what is their shooting style? Do they prefer single camera? Do they use multiple cameras? Usually I'll watch, if they're not a first-time director, I'll watch 2 or 3 of their previous movies to kind of know their shooting style. See if it's a lot of wide shots, or if they like getting really close, just to get an idea.
Figure out where the mic is going to be and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Paul Feig is known for balancing humor and heart. Did you approach mixing his film differently from, say, the more intense energy or Spike Lee's highest to lowest?
I always go in trying to give them the best quality audio possible. But I found that and it depends on the director and how they run their set. So I found that with Paul, we could really take the time to lay carpets down, to put little foam on the bottom of glasses, to really troubleshoot any problems that came up. So we did. It was a very fast-paced set, but we did have that time to do things. And in approaching the mix, yeah, I guess from a technical standpoint, approaching the mix is the same. I think it's just how we kind of get the clarity of the sound. So with Spikes, that intense movie, it was go, 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 and we will do the best we can given the circumstances, still make it sound as good as possible. But there isn't that. It was Spike's set was very serious, and Paul's, although an intense movie, had that levity on the set. So maybe that, I guess that just affected the time we were given to do things, but not the mix itself.
Yeah. So working with legends like Denzel Washington and Jennifer Lawrence, do they make your job easier or more challenging in terms of how you shape and blend their performance sonically?
I want to say that if they have experience on a set, it's a little easier because they know what to expect and they know what to do. And when we ask them something, they're like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. Or no, I don't want to do that. And they know exactly what we're talking about. So that makes the job a little easier. You get a yes or no definitive answer. They also have amazing voices that are very easy to capture on a microphone. Like, they sound great wherever the microphone is. So that makes the job easier more than anything else. That's not to say inexperienced actors are hard to work with. They're not. There's just more explaining that needs to happen before we can, get our answer.
Yeah. So when things go wrong on set, background noise, tricky environments, or tech issues, what's your mindset for staying calm and creative as a mixer under pressure?
I wish I had a mindset. I kind of just bottle everything inside and have a very calm persona on the outside. I think it's probably everyone's doing their best, maybe,
Yeah.
And we have this trouble a lot with background actors. If you have a big party scene and there's a lot of people in the background, we constantly have to tell them, you guys can't whisper. The microphone hears the whispers.
We'll pick it up.
Yeah. Or so that's our biggest challenge. And it's it's a combination of everyone's doing their best and people don't quite understand how sensitive the microphones are.
Yeah.
So that keeps me calm. I know.
Okay, we're going to take a final break and we're going to play a game True or False. And it's time to test some facts about your life and career. Are you ready, Allison?
Yes, ready.
Okay, the best sound mix is the one the audience never notices.
True.
True or false? Sound mixing is 50% patience and 50% intuition.
Oh gosh, I would say false. I think it's more patience. It's like 80% patience.
True or false? Good mixing can save a poorly recorded scene.
Oh gosh, I'm gonna say false. I feel like if it's poorly recorded, it's really hard to mix it well.
Salvage it, yeah. You can tell a movie's genre by listening to raw dialogue.
True.
Rain scenes make every mixer nervous.
True.
Silence is just as powerful as sound.
True.
You can tell when a scene is emotionally working just by how it sounds.
Yes, that's true.
You still choose mixing if you had to start your entire career over again.
Ooh.
Okay, you don't have to answer this.
I mean, yes, true. Yes.
Okay, we're gonna move on to our final segment. Artistry, process, and advice. You've said sound is a collaboration between departments. What do you wish more directors or cinematographers understood how sound mixing works on set?
I think it's proximity of the microphone. So like a
Hmm.
lot of times DPs will set up two cameras, and one will be really wide and one will be really tight. So the
Yeah.
boom can't get into the wide shot, but the tight would sound beautiful. And
Yeah.
a huge misconception is if I can hear it, then it's okay, which is not true. Just because you could hear it, I could put a mic in
Yeah.
a room in a corner, and yeah, you could hear everything that's going on, but it's
Yeah.
not what we call on mic. So I feel like that's the biggest thing is not really knowing
Yeah.
that the mic needs to be close.
Okay. Just want to jump back to the previous questions. How did you get your break? Like you went to MFA film school, and what was next for you? What was after for you? How did you get all these big blockbuster breaks?
I worked really hard, I think. I don't. Yeah. So I moved from London to New York. I grew up
Yeah.
on Long Island, so it was either New York or LA, and
Yeah.
I didn't see myself in LA, so I moved to New York, and I wrote a bunch of letters to sound mixers whose work I really liked,
Yeah.
and one of them, they all responded to me, and one of them got me a job, like an internship as a
Yeah.
sound intern on a movie that he was mixing at the time,
Okay.
and that was really helpful in sort of learning the ins and outs of like a union film and like a bigger production.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then I talked to his boom operator, and he said you should reach out to NYU and Columbia and schools that
Hmm.
have film programs, because they're always looking for sound people. It's mainly writers, directors. They have gear, so you wouldn't need to have your own equipment, and they're always looking for sound people. So I did.
Hmm.
I did that, and I searched Craigslist and Mandy.com, which is another film
Yeah.
resource, and just tried to get like indie, low budget, super low budget projects.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
those students who graduated, because it was a graduate program, became directors and producers and remembered me and
Oh, yeah.
got me and called me for work. And through them, and I just met more
Yeah.
people, moved up the ranks, and kind of got to where I am
Yeah.
today. Very, very lucky to be in a position where I am today.
That's amazing. Actually, one of the guests mentioned to me that the best way to move up is to um, build your own group, and then because everybody grows at the same time or maybe faster, you will always have jobs and work. It's about networking. So, but you have to you have to create your own group, and then basically it will eventually it will grow and stuff. So, what do you think about that? I
I
think
think
you did that. You did
Yeah,
that
I kind of
already.
did that. I
Yeah.
think it's really good advice, because it's always the same producers who call me or who will recommend me to another producer, and that expands the
Yeah.
group. So yeah, definitely forming your own group, hopefully of talented people like,
Yeah.
like yourself, so you can all grow together. I think that's fantastic advice.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So for young filmmakers or aspiring sound mixers, what's one common mistake you see beginners make, and what advice would you give them to elevate their craft early on?
Um, honestly, a lot of it comes down to personality. So I
Yeah,
see a lot of, and sound, I mean, people will say this about every department if they're in it, but sound
yeah,
gets pushed down to the bottom a lot of times, because if you think about it, most departments on set are there for the image. The props people, the production design, camera people, they're all there for the look of the movie. And we in the sound department are the only three concerned about the sound of the film.
yeah,
So it feels like we're at the bottom a lot. So early on, I would say, don't get frustrated. What you're experiencing has happened to everyone. We're pushed to the
mhm,
sidelines. Just keep a positive attitude. Ask for the things you need, and it's gonna be okay.
yeah. Is there anything they need to do to hone their skills? Do you have any advice for them? What do they need to do early on?
Yeah, I mean, just record. It really is experience, and record for those low budget indie things. Like, you know, when I started, I said yes to everything. I did jobs
Yeah,
that were like $50 a day, uh, for 12 hours just for the experience, because
wow,
record your stuff and listen back and see how it sounds. See if there's anything you would do differently. Be like, oh yeah, there was a plane. I should have said, oh, can we wait for the plane? Or they're messing with a plastic bag. It's super loud. Next time I'll ask them if they can be more quiet with the plastic bag or something. So it's just really listen to what you're recording.
Yeah, that's a great tip. So when you read a new script, what are the first few things that go through your head as a mixer? And how do you mentally map out the sound world of the film before it's even shot?
So when I first read a script, I'm reading just for pure enjoyment. I just want to see what the story is, see if it's something I'd want to be a part of. So after I do that, and be like, okay, yeah, I like this story. I want to try to go for this job. I'll read it a second time, and I'll have my little notebook, and I'll go scene by scene and make notes. Anything sound specific that I want to make sure and record. So for example, let me give an example. If it says character walks through halls with jangly keychain or something, it's like, okay, when we're recording the dialogue of this character, we want to make sure that keychain is silent. But if we have time, we'll get a wild track of the sound of the keys or something like that.
Yeah.
If there's anything that's not dialogue, but it says character laughs and then says, I want to make sure we get that laugh. So
by
certain
itself, clean.
Sorry?
By itself, the laugh by itself.
Yeah. Or like subway screeches overhead. Like I will record wild track of that subway going and coming and stopping and doors opening and all the stuff to get as much sound for the folks in post-production as possible. So that's one thing. I'm making a note of sounds I want to capture. The other thing is challenging situations. So if there's, I once read a script that had a conversation happening across subway platforms, two people shouting to each other across the subway platform. Okay, that's something we're going to have to deal with. How loud are they going to be? Where's the camera? Will we be able to get a boom over them? Or do I have to put a wire on them that has like a padded sensitivity that won't blow out because they're shouting? There was another movie I did where a really heartfelt conversation took place next to a waterfall. So I'm like, okay, this is a conversation I need to have with the director. How close to the waterfall? Can we like fake the distance from the waterfall? So any potential, I don't want to say problems because there's never a problem, but any potential challenges that I see.
Because there's always a solution, and see how you shoot it and where you put the microphone and all that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah. So for example, for the subway, you were mentioning that you take some extra sound for the post-production. Like, do you usually go early to shoot all these things before the actors arrive and stuff, like for the subway to open the doors and close and all that stuff? And
not usually, because production doesn't want to pay for you to be there early.
So whenever you can, probably, right?
Whenever
you're on the set, you try as much as you can.
Exactly. There's usually some downtime on set while they're setting up lights, or if actors have a costume change. And I'll say to my boom operator, hey, can you go over there? The subway's coming. I want to record it. So we'll find moments like that. Okay.
And then after, I guess they will add more stuff or tweak it in post-production, the sound production. Okay, good. Excellent. So do you think great mixing is more about technical mastery or emotional intuition, or is it really about finding the balance between the two?
I want to say it's finding the balance between the two, but I lean more toward the emotional intuition side of it. I'm not a techie person. Like I mean, I'm amazed that I can use a smartphone and that I can get this working on my computer. Like, I'm like happy my sound equipment works. Like, I just want to push record and hope it all works out. I do know about different kinds of microphones. Some microphones work better in certain situations over others. Like I understand my craft enough, but there are people who are like, oh, if you rewire this, this, and this, and just solder this cable, you'll have the best thing. And I'm like, I can't. So for me, it's more of the intuition of knowing, okay, this actor has a quiet voice. I want to use this mic. I feel like because in the rehearsal, the actor walked over to that bridge, they're they're going to do something over there. We should put something over there. The way they're setting this up, I just feel like something is going to happen in this zone. So, and then putting a microphone in that zone, I rely very heavily on gut instinct. Most of the time they're right, but that just comes from years of experience. Like as when I first started, I had no idea. I had one microphone and that was enough. But now there's this movie I did where there was no dialogue whatsoever. I think I had 5 microphones because the guy walked from the backyard. So I wanted one outside, opened a squeaky screen door. I wanted a mic small near the screen door to capture that. And then he walked in. I wanted another mic to get the footsteps from him going inside. And then I had my boom op like off in the distance, getting quiet ambience away from the crew. And then I feel like I had another one like deep in the kitchen where he was walking to. So I feel like that's more emotional. It's like you're capturing the feeling of an environment through the soundscape. And the technical in that is just hitting record and moving some faders, which there's yes, there is something to that. You can't just guess at what's happening, but I guess I'm more driven by emotion.
So have you encountered in one of your projects where the director wants a certain, I don't know, microphones to use or certain I'm not sure if the directors will maybe, I don't know. Have you encountered that?
No.
Like usually cameras and stuff, but I haven't heard anybody like a director, unless they come from a sound background or something.
Yeah,
I want this microphone, whatever. Yes.
Yeah. Only this one. Not in my experience have I encountered that. I feel like I've had directors openly admit to me, I don't know about sound. Can you explain what you do or how you do your craft? So that being said, I'm sure there are very sound savvy directors out there. I've worked with sound savvy directors who care a lot about the quality of the sound, but they've never said, I want this mic only. I think they trust me enough to know I will choose the mic that's correct for the job.
The right. Yeah. Great. And what's next for you? Any upcoming projects you can talk about?
No, I don't have anything. So we finished on Monday, actually, a TV pilot for FX, and hopefully it gets picked up. See.
Excellent.
Yeah, it was one of the creators of Breaking Bad wrote a pilot, and it was kind of his baby. So he's such a good guy. I really hope it gets picked up. It was a lot of fun, but I can't say anything about it. So.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So Allison, you've done everything. You've done big, from small to big projects. Do you have a dream project? Is there a dream project for you, or you've done it all? Like,
I've done it all. A dream project. I mean, I think I would. This is going to be a weird combo. I don't know if it exists. I'm sure it exists.
Yeah.
But I would love to do a horror movie musical.
Okay. I heard about it. I don't know. It will be like an indie film, probably.
Probably. Yeah. I don't think there's a big budget market for horror movie musical. But that's like combining my two loves. I think it'll be great.
Musical. Yeah. We should start one. We should make one.
Yeah. Can you write? I'm not a writer. You should. Can you write?
I'm not a writer, but I'm a producer. I can get the script and we can make one.
Okay, great. That sounds great. I'm on board whenever.
Okay. So for anyone watching or listening who dreams of working in sound, what's the best piece of advice you've ever received that still guides you today?
Still guides me today. I mean, it's not sound specific, but it's just be patient, I think, because, and that applies to getting to where you want to be in this industry, as well as working on set once you're there, because it takes work and it takes time and it takes connections to become a sound mixer. It takes experience. And then once you're on set, it's dealing with lots of different personalities, and they're all doing their part for their department. And it's kind of, you are just as important as everyone else. And it just takes patience to kind of get the things you want, really. So I guess that was it. Can I give an anti-advice that I was given that I chose to ignore it? So I've been told on multiple occasions that I'm too nice, and I've chose to ignore that entirely and just be nice, because I feel like I don't know, it works to my advantage to just, when you're asking for things for the sound department, I don't know, a smile goes a really long way. So some people are like, no, you gotta be more demanding and that's how you're gonna get stuff. And I'm like, no one wants someone yelling in their face to get something they need. So that's advice I ignored.
So any last word, Allison? We're nearing the end of the show. Anything you want to add, or tips for our listeners, or anything? Final thoughts?
I mean, I guess at the end of the day, like, if you choose to be a sound mixer, or if you choose to get into film in general, it should be fun. This should be, it's grueling. Don't get me wrong. Like, it's 12 to 14-hour days sometimes, night, exterior, in the winter, horrible. But it's amazing. Like, no, but it is, like, surround yourself with good people. Sound department is a very small department. We're a crew of 3, sometimes 4. So you want to make sure you work for good people. If you are the boss, if you're the mixer, that you hire good people who you get along with, because you're spending a lot of time together. So, I would just be that. And just remember what brought you to filmmaking in the beginning. For me, it was a love of movies. So I always try to hold on to that when I'm freezing in January and it's minus 20, it was 3 a.m. I'm like, remember why you're here?
That's a good tip. That's a good tip. Okay, Allison, we're nearing the end of the show. That's all, folks. Thank you for watching. Allison Jackson, everyone. Thank you, Allison.
Thank you.
Thank you.